think.
Alex, that Latin saying you just told me before we went live, is that the Paris motto? Yeah, I knew I'd heard it somewhere. Right. So I've paid my electric bills this time. You're not in a pub, although you've got a rather loud little girl in the background. I'm sure we'll manage.
Be quiet, woman.
Um,
be quiet.
So Alex, you're one of my favourite people that I've met in the last couple of years. I've met a lot of interesting people, notorious, infamous, famous, you know, and you're someone who intrigues me greatly because I've learned a lot about your story. But I've got to know you over the last 17 months or something. So I know who you are as a person now. I know what is real, what isn't.
We must be in sync. We must be in sync, Jamie. Look what we're wearing. For great minds.
You don't want to see what I've got on below.
Oh, I do.
You know what? No, you're someone who I knew a lot of stories and this, that, and the other. And as I've got to know you, that's just your personality. And you know, you'd be amazed how desperate some people are when they're trying to attach themselves to people. Well, before I want to get talking, I want to chat a little bit about the boss, Nikki.
No, that's not the boss.
She is the boss.
No, the boss is ruling the house right now.
Yeah,
this one thinks she's the boss, but the little boss.
Right, but the old boss. I can hear she's
boss lady and boss baby.
Right. No, I was interested in reading the other week on one of your posts that she's been nominated for some kind of like Mum of the Year.
We didn't even know. I was so proud. That's great. Nikki's in the background. Nikki, can you tell me a bit about it? So she does all this blogging, vlogging, and she's about, fingers crossed, we're in talks with Hahn Street Fertility Clinic. Oh, I'm getting told off. I can't say that. Something really exciting. Because she's helping so many mums, and her story. We've been struggling for 7 years to have beautiful Anastasia Pixie, who you can hear in the background. We've had how many miscarriages? Because I get it wrong every time. 6. The reason why I get it wrong, I don't like to focus on it's. I always see the law of attraction. We're going to have a baby. So it's a bugger when it happens. It really is. When unfortunately that we lose a soul. But I don't believe we actually lose a soul. The soul just goes into hibernation, and she's come here now.
Yeah, she's. I mean, all babies are special, but little Pixie is extra special. I mean, my wife was talking about it last night because she had a few problems with our son, and it's that extra bit because she took so much hard work to come, and it's now obviously like you've had a few. You know, you've got a daughter in the past. I have, and so that must be a bit.
You want to wrap another daughter, so yeah, but and I can't really go into that too much, and you know why. All I can say is I formed a whole foundation to help parents go through the family courts. It's sad, and I love it very dearly. I really am getting to really experience what being a daddy is all about now, and it's the most wonderful experience. And it's tricky because I have to be careful for legal reasons because of reporting restrictions. But there's so much sadness there. But I just being a dad, and because this is why we talk about these things. For those of you who don't know, I have a foundation called the Bob Reid Foundation, formed after my father, who was the most loving man, powerful, strong, wonderful superhero to me, ex-paratrooper, army boxing champion. But do you know what? I didn't even know he was a tough guy. He was always a kind, loving hippie to me. But it was a badass. And I formed the foundation after him.
You're known for that, but they don't come much tougher than being a boxing champion in the Paris.
No, exactly. Haven't you got any relation? Is your brother a para or something?
My brothers. I mean, obviously, I was joining the army when I was young. But my brother, he's been in the Paras now 8 years. So
Wow.
I mean,
What's
listen. What is he in?
1, 2, 3.
Never asked him.
Oh my goodness.
But he's a young kid. He's 28, and I don't think I'd probably be able to fight him anymore. You know, he's a little brother to me, so I don't think that would probably work on him anymore.
Are you
close? No, not really. No.
It's sad.
But there's a big. It is sad. But I was like 13 when he was born, so there was me and my sister, and then there was a massive gap, and then I've got a little brother and a little sister who's 25, 20. So there's two generations. But the Alex, the what was it? Sorry, your dad's
Bob Reid Foundation. Reid. I formed it after him because he was a loving. He was a loving, kind man, and his. I asked him before he died. He died in 2015, and Dad, what would you say the number one attribute that anyone should have in life? And he said kindness, and he lived like that. And he died a very sad man for some reasons, which obviously I think you can put 2 and 2 together. Why I formed a foundation to help parents go through the family courts, and that's it. But let's be positive. If anyone does need help, I can help you. We have a whole team of people. Reach out to us. I'm sure we can put the links here, Jamie, because you're a member as well.
I'm going to put the links to the Bob Reid Foundation and your YouTube channel, which we're going to talk about in a minute.
Yeah.
So if anyone wants to get in touch, but the Bob Reid Foundation. So is that like basically kind of, you know? I mean, I've got a daughter. I don't know who we both. Yeah. You know. Yeah, that's a bit awkward. Maybe she might be watching. But do you know what? Is the Bob Reid Foundation a bit like kind of Fathers for Justice or something?
Similar-ish, yeah. Similar. Tell me about your daughter.
I'm Jack the Ripper. Never met her. But I was a young kid. I was 21 when I got with the mother. The mother was a lot older than me, 28. So I was this young kid, got out of prison, met the school teacher, car, money, and I was like, you know, and I was young, immature, made a lot of bad decisions, hung around with the wrong people, and I never had hold of her since. It's only something I've been able to talk about this year or since the last couple of months.
We've talked quite a bit about this.
Yeah, but I've never had hold of her since she was 3 months old, and I've never seen her since my 23rd birthday. So that was 5 months. And I went. She's 19, but I went and I seen her, and the mum said, "There, you've seen her now. Fuck off." Now I've just kind of buried it, and that's been a root for my depression and all this kind of thing. But you know, I mean, listen.
About that.
Yeah, I think it's something when we're going to get together. That can be something regarding like a book.
Yeah, because I've really, me and Jamie's a very renowned author and had some awards and everything. That's why we're talking. We initially, I was on a podcast with, what was it, James English, or was it Sean Atwood? And I've talked about doing a book. I've flirted with doing a book for many, many years, and I felt like I need to have some success in my own right before I can write a book. Otherwise, it's all going to be doom and gloom, and that's happening now, which is good. But with all the doom and gloom, I think it's important to sometimes share that, only if you're ready. And the reason why I want to share it is because it helps other people. When I've heard other people had the most horrendous things happen to them, and I've seen how they got through it, and it gives you a guide. Because when life hits you, like Rocky says, when life hits you hard, you get down. You know, sometimes you don't want to get up, but if you can see someone else who's got up and how they've dealt with it, sometimes you just need a hand up, a bit of compassion, a bit of help, and it's
I mean, you read a book. I'm not going to go on about it, but you kind of had an all-inclusive holiday. It was in the papers. Majesty's pleasure. You read a book, and it was Tyson Fury, the Furious Method. Now, all I do 7 days a week is type, read, all this. So I've stopped reading books. I only read my own because I'm not narcissistic. And I only like reading good people's books. But no, on a serious note, you said to me, Jamie, this book, I read it. So I bought it the other week. And I was really, really impressed because it's not just a boxing book. And, you know, Tyson Fury talks about the trolls, negativity, getting your diet right, going to bed properly. And I thought, Alex Reid, with all the ups and downs you've had in your life, and the shit and the bullshit and the lies and the depression and the you know, the drug, lots of different things we could go on about. And I thought, you know what? That's the perfect Alex Reid book before you ever did your biography.
100%. That's why I said, I mean, I don't feel ready to do the biography yet.
No.
But I like I said, I feel when you've had so much crap happen to yourself, it's like, if you can share that with somebody else and it helps them, it kind of makes the crap that happened to you, gives it a purpose, a reason. And it also is a coping mechanism. Hang on a minute. Well, this shit happened to me. Maybe if I can show you, don't go this way, go that way. You know, and I think something like, that's why I saw it. I read that Tyson Fury book, The Furious Method. I was very impressed. And I think you said, so I've had some much worse things happen to me in my life. I'm like, really? Do you think so? I'm a perpetual optimist.
Yes. I mean, listen, right?
Do the poor. First thing you learn in Paris, don't feel sorry for yourself. And that's one of the problems, because especially the whole suicide thing, you know, you feel like you're all smiles and happy, but so many soldiers who suffer from PTSD, they're absolutely diabolical inside because you don't want to complain. I'm all right. I'm not a pussy, but inside your life's terrible. And you, especially when I talk to my missus, and I don't tell her stuff, and she says, "You got to share it with me." I don't want to share it with you because, you know.
Listen, let me give you an example, right? I've had a bit of limelight last couple of years, which is why I got the anxiety, coming out with that now. But I know what it's like for people to spread lies about you. He's this, he's that. Now, I remember the days in the News of the World when you were on the front page and everyone, the nanas, people who they shouldn't even know who Alex Reid is, this 8-year-old nana, Frida, and she's like, "Oh, yeah, about the Alex Reid, is it right?" Yeah, and it's like, I could not imagine what that must be like. Where, I mean, I'll give you an example. Me and you were in London about 6 months ago, and we were walking down the street, and these two girls could come up, and they were like, "Where do I know you from? Where do I know you from?" Completely blanked me, and it was really funny. And I've told my mates a couple of this because you just stood up and you just went, "'Cause I'm sexy." But instantly, these girls who never met you, straight away it was like, you know, the new. And then obviously we went in the pub and people were handing you, you know. I had the same day with Martin O'Neill. Every second, people wanting pictures. But obviously, in your case, Alex, people have an opinion. People want to sell stories. People just want to but people want to be attached to you. They want to ride off your back, and when it's down, and they get rid of you, and all this kind of bullshit. And I just think, you know, people like yourself and Kerry Katonas, you know, Michael Barrymore's have been ripped apart, and they've led a life not many of us will ever understand.
It's funny, you know, every week it's slowing down now because I feel like I actually generally feel my image, and my image is changing because of the little lady over there. People are seeing the real me again. Every week I had for so many years had such vicious, trolling, abusive media at hands generally of two women, and all the horrible stories that would write about me, and the media was just, I'm the pantomime villain. Yeah. And when people get to meet me, I used to get every week, "Do you know what? I'm really sorry." I'm like, "What? Why? I had such a bad opinion of you, and you're so lovely, and you're nothing like. I have to say sorry." And that's nice in some respects. Yeah. But in other respects, that's terrible, because if that's the general consensus of what people are thinking of me, I'm like, that's not good. I'm a businessman. Listen, and I'm an ex-paratrooper. I'm a geezer. I've had all these fights. I'm a tough guy and all that stuff. But it's all very well. People say, "Why do you care what people think?" If it was just a case of that was the end of it. But when it affects you as a business person and it's affecting your pocket and your ability to feed your family, then you really do care. You have to take note and like try and change that, because you want people to buy into you, and that's been a very tough uphill battle.
So now, Alex, which I think is fantastic, and I've told you for a long time, and my close friend Paul.
Nicola, can you shut the door, please? I can hear you more than I can hear my YouTube. Sorry.
So my close friend Paul Venice has only just kind of woken up, and he's got 7,000 followers, which is unbelievable in like 5-6 weeks. And wow. People are learning from him, from his addictions, from his drugs, from the prison, from the being homeless, from the fighting. And if some good can come from it, from your mess, I say to Paul Venice, his mess is now his message. And you have now, you know, you're very well known, but people are now seeing the real Alex Reid, not the one who, you know, was that picture years ago. People are known who you are, nice person, funny guy, genuine, but it's probably been a long time overcoming, Alex. But if you'd have done this years ago, people would have known. So what's your YouTube channel? I'm going to put in the links for this. And it's called Alex Reid Talk. So what is it going to be about, and how prolific is it going to be?
Well, I'm an actor, and I've got some serious acting projects coming up. I've been quite lucky, and I've been reluctant. And I'm always on my case, Jamie. Get on YouTube. Paul's doing this because I'm friendly with Paul. You know, you could, because Paul was a bit like me. You know, just under 1,000 subscribers. Now he's up to 7,000. You're saying you could be doing the same. You're on my case the whole time. I've been a bit reluctant because which way is Alex Reid going? What's he doing on the tin? And it's been I've been uncertain because you know, do actors they do YouTubes, but and I've been careful about what I'm going to do. I've finally got it in my head, you know. So there is a purpose. There is a reason why we'll have a YouTube channel. I've got a YouTube channel. Come and follow me. I'll be having conversations like this to help people. It's not going to, as much as I am going to be access all areas, I do understand privacy, family privacy. Yeah. I've just, I look at people who've done what I want to do. People like, from Muhammad Ali, let's look at Will Smith. Will Smith, great. He just did, I used to tell everybody everything and say everything. And now when people ask me what I'm doing, I just say, I'm great. And I think I kind of get that. But then Will Smith will still go on a show and promote what he's doing. But the thing is, if I specifically want to promote and help people with, you know, the trials and tribulations I've been through, then what better way to do it than a YouTube channel? We can discuss different topics. Sorry, I'm going to get rid of this chihuahua. I love you. Go.
Yeah, you know
but
what?
There's something else come up as well, Jamie. I think, I don't know if you, maybe I'll let you ask me about it. You know what's coming.
Yeah, I'm gonna get there. But you know what? Because obviously we went to do this the other night, and I've got an order in my mind. But regarding, yes, you can be a serious. Do you know what? If I want to give you some advice, just watch what Russell Brand's doing. Yeah. Because he talks about addictions. He's got one video about the trolls, and he says, "Look, I'm famous. This is part of my life. So don't look at it. Don't deal with it." And listen, Alex, you're going to have that forever. Even if you weren't famous, if you're going to be successful, if you're going to write books, if you're going to be a fighter, if you're going to be an actor, you're going to get it, because nothing in life worth doing comes easy.
Yeah, amen. I hear.
But you know, there's a few things I wanna, you know, people know you from many years ago, but today, brand new year, what's Alex Reid about now? Because I looked on your thing the other week, and you haven't shouted about this, so I'm going to bring it up. You've been helping the homeless. So, you know, London has a massive homeless problem. Where did that come from, where you just went in the city of London, and did you see some really bad cases?
I'm a member of with the Bob Reid Foundation, and I'm an ex-para, so I've got lots of friends, and they do. So a lot of them do stuff to help veterans, and there's so many homeless veterans on the streets. But forget about army personnel. You know, guy Lola, stop getting in the picture. There's so many people just suffering on the streets, and I walk into London, and just can't stand it to see these poor people, and nobody gives them time of day. So I'm always trying to give them the time of day. And the tricky thing is, I try and give them money these days. Because how often do I carry money these days? I don't know. When you go out, do you carry money, or is it all plastic?
Never, absolutely never. It's just a card.
Yeah. And I'm like, yeah. So me and Lee Stafford, who's my new manager, I have to say, he's been bloody brilliant with Reid Media. We had a chat about it, and we thought, hang on a second, why don't we go and do something? I've been involved in various charities over the years, Centrepoint, various homeless charities. We've gone out and helped the homeless, and I just thought, what can we do? And we just thought, just spend a few £100, and we'll go and hand out a few blankets, and we managed to raise over £1,000, and it's still going now. We've got a GoFundMe page. We put that up as well. We're regularly doing it now. We helped so many people, and it felt so good. And we weren't at first. We were like, we can't find any homeless people. Where are they all? And then we had like about £1,500 worth of blankets, toothbrushes, gloves, hats, socks, thermal socks, gift cards with for food and drink. But they just went out like wildfire. In the end, the word got around, and everyone was coming up to us. The last lady we came up to, a poor young girl, she was about 30 actually, and she just said, "Oh, I just had the most." She wasn't begging as well, and you could tell she was homeless. I just had the most wonderful Christmas dinner. Happy Christmas, guys. Said, "Oh, okay." And then we saw she wasn't even begging. I said, "You're right." She says, "Yeah, I'm all right. Are you homeless?" But, yeah. I said, "Can we give you anything?" "Well, yeah, I'd love something." We ended up giving her a couple of £100. And
Really?
we were like, in all of we finished. We don't have anything left, so we had to go and buy some more bits. And you think, right, was this poor girl, and she was lovely, was she going to use it? I know she could tell she was an ex-junkie. Is she going to use it on gear? And maybe she was. And you have to wonder. You see people, I'm not going to give them any money, just going to use it on gear. But it was so cold. I was frozen to the bone. And I'm not trying to, enable somebody, because I don't agree with that. But in the same token, I've given it with my best intention. I don't believe she was. We gave her a phone card and a wires so she could charge her phone. She actually had a phone. And we were trying to get her to somewhere to stay because it was freezing. And this poor lady, out on the street. And we give her around £200 worth of kit, and is she gonna? And to my day, is she gonna use that on gear? Maybe, but what do? You just got to give them the best. I mean, it's so cold, it's so miserable. Can you see why people do that? They've got nothing, and it's freezing, and so many people are dying as we speak. They've closed because of COVID. So many of the hostels have been closed. You can't get places. They're on the street. They've got nothing. They're getting robbed and beaten up by gangs of young lads coming out of the pub drunk, beating up homeless. I'm a bit bashed up at the moment. I've had more than a few wars. I'm waiting for a couple of minor operations to fix this and that. But I wouldn't be able to help myself if I saw that. I almost feel like what they used to have in London and in New York. The guys with the red, not the paras. There was like a vigilante group. Do you remember them? Used to go on the tubes. Do you remember them?
Yeah. Hang on. People are asking questions, so I'm gonna give you the chance to ask Alex questions at the end. No, I know what you mean, Alex. I can't for the life of me think of the name, but it was a New York vigilante group. I'll Google it later, but I know what you mean. Can I ask you? Do you know when you spoke to a few of the homeless? what was the the general thing that got them there?
So, do you know what? We spoke to so many different people, some who've been there for years, and some who literally a 60-year-old guy who'd only been homeless for 6 months. It was so sad, and he was embarrassed. He didn't want to talk to us, and I said, "It's okay, don't need to. Can we talk to you?" You know, and we filmed some of it, and people. And I can see one guy said, "Why are you filming it? Why can't you just give it to me for free?" I said, "We won't film you at all." And we did. We turned the film off. The reason why we're filming it, because I want people to understand what these people are going through, so we can share it, so people have more compassion. And there's no real reason, but I saw why they're out on the streets. We saw 2 young girls who were on a night out, and they said, we were chatting to them, not young, they were in their 25, 30-ish, all done up, all nice, and had a few wines. And they were like, "Oh, what you're doing is really great." He said, "We both used to be homeless, and so it's wonderful what you're doing." And they were telling me, like, one of them was homeless, and I spoke to lots of people. A lot of them are homeless as kids with their parents. It's ridiculous in this day and age, and this is why I've become super passionate with homeless veterans.
Yeah.
When we have the ability in this day and age, we have the money, and we have a society where we have these institutions, these buildings which have been empty.
But you're from the home of the British Army, is that why?
Aldershot, yeah, I'm born and bred Aldershot. I love Aldershot, home of the British Army, and we have the ability to look after them, but we're not. What the hell's going on? Listen, I'm not anti-immigrants, because I mean, if you go back in history, English, we are immigrants. We're a mishmash of bastards of all sorts of races and amalgamation with Anglo-Saxons, the Norse. We've been invaded and conquered by Normans, by Romans. We're a mishmash of everything. We're all immigrants if you go back far enough. So, but what I am, when I see the immigration of so many people coming in now from obviously what's going on in the world. You see, actually, the statistics, it's 75% men, 19 to. And what about the women and children? Listen, I'm not anti. Men need help as well. I'm a man, but I mean, why is that? And and I can understand this because I have a lot of ethnic minority friends, and who've been involved in naughty, vicarious, is that the word? Gangsters. Let's call it drug dealers, gangs, all that sort of stuff. And they think nothing. Some of them come from war-torn countries where they've seen their parents killed. It's a dog-eat-dog world. So coming here, selling drugs, and is survival. They're living. It's easy, and we judge them. It's a tricky one. I mean, I'd rather have my streets safe and have less. I would say that I don't want an undesirable kind of person on the street, but you have to look where they come from. They come from war-torn countries, and people. This is what I think the whole of society. I'm going off on one, and I'll turn it down in a second. How's war created? We're sitting here in our comfy homes in central heating with
religion.
You could say religion, but I mean the English. I'm going to say a rude word. We're the biggest, bloodiest terrorists the world's ever seen. At some point, we're nice guys now. We've gone around conquering, enslaving the whole world. English is the biggest language that's spoken around the world. You know, we've created a lot of this.
Yeah. A few more questions, Alex, but a few people are just wanting to me, so I want to just run a few by you. Obviously, not just some important ones.
We missed something about a little show that's going on this year.
Yeah, I've got that. So Steve Rave, hi lads. Steve, I've done his book. He's an interesting character. I sent him your number the other day. Promoter, kind of has a big reach, Alex, so you might want to contact him. Right, so Mrs. Ali thinks you should apply for the next part of James Bond. We're going to get into the acting next.
Thank you.
So, how can Jimmy O, the Wigan Joker, how can
Jimmy
people
O,
donate to Alex's charity?
We'll put the link on the GoFundMe link.
Jimmy, I'm going to put the link when I go live. When I'm finished going live, I'm going to put the link in the bio for Alex's. Yeah, and I'm also going to do it for Alex Reid Talks YouTube channel.
And if we could also, my missus has just been voted as one of the best mamas. If we could put that link in, if anyone can vote for it, I'd really appreciate that.
Yes, I'll do that because me and Shirley voted last night.
Thank you.
Mental health, correct. War, deep. Alex, have people ever told you, right? You're this ex-fighter, broken nose, pugilistic ears, fit fighter. But when they get to know you, you don't expect the views and the thoughts and the intelligence radiating out of you. Do people say that, or is that just me?
I don't. It's funny. I don't consider myself a fighter anymore. I'm a lover. Baby.
No, but you were a professional fighter, so come on.
Yeah.
You know, you made a living.
Yeah, I did. I was, I was at one point. Get this, I was in the top 10 in the world.
I know. Paul Venice told me.
About a week. It's funny. It's a totally different world to me now. I don't see that side of me anymore. It's so gone. Isn't that interesting?
Yeah, I mean, but to your public, you're this big 6 foot, handsome, tan, good look, like kind of. But you can see you know, when you close up, you can see the cut you've had from the fight, and we all know you're good looking, Alex, but you look like a fighter, right? Or you know, and when people think, forgive, it's not me, but some people would think he's a Neanderthal who's just discovered fire. But it's only when you get to know you, or you listen to James English or Sean Atwood, you think, because a lot of people have said to me, what a kind of charismatic, intellectual guy you come across, which in the News of the World and the Sun 10 years ago never said that. They just said X, bit of rough, MMA fighter, in Killer Bitch, the fighting film. That's what comes across. And it's only when you get to know you or spend a bit of time that the real Alex Reid shines out.
Yeah, I don't. Thank you. I don't. I mean, I don't see that though. I mean, I don't. I detach myself from that person now. I feel soft. I feel so soft. I know. I grew up wanting to be like a ninja, like saying the magic words, and I could be I wanted to be a gentleman, and then only have to be tough when I had to be tough. That's what I tried to be now, to tell you the truth. My biggest hero was my dad. He was a softie. He had the kindest heart. He was the life and soul of the party. But he'd been to war. He'd sing, and he was a badass. He was respected. Army boxing champion. I was like, well, why do I need to be tough?
Yeah,
I know I am tough. Let's have more love these days.
So, you're talking about not fighting, but you've got an operation coming up.
Hey, sorry, Jamie, let me stop you there. And you said operation. I struggle to put my shoes on at the moment. I've got
I've been offered a fight in May.
I've been offered a fight in May.
Yes. So,
and I'm thinking of it.
So listen, the fight you've got is possibly in May, but the operation could be in March, which is major. Now, could you do that, and would you want to do it?
Never say never. There's too many variables. It's just juggling, and we don't. I mean, this year is exciting. You've not mentioned the big thing that's going on as well, which I'm going to do it.
I've got it. Yeah. I've got it. Honestly.
Yeah.
So you know what?
Between everything that's going on, it's just a question of putting it all the right pieces in the right place at the right time.
Yeah. But you like Paul Venice. Listen, Paul would fight every day, but he's got so many old niggling injuries, and I know you have. You've snapped your leg. You've had some disgusting.
You say that, though. You say that, though. I've asked Paul this question. I haven't got the same desire these days.
Yeah.
The burning. I mean, I used to fight to prove how tough I was. Don't feel like I know I am tough now, but I fought the toughest guys in the planet, and at the highest level, and I know, and I've done really well.
Yeah.
I've got
but I watched one of your
titles.
I watched one of your podcasts recently, and you said, you know, because you wear a name, regardless how humble you are, you've got to a good level. Paul said to me, in a sport predominantly full of Americans, this is going back 20 years ago, you've got to fight, I think it was Tom Watson, and it should have been an absolute walkover. And although you lost, it was like best fight you'd ever seen. And basically, you know, I think one of your podcasts, you said you went and sparred some young kid who, I think you were in your 40s, and you went and sparred this young kid, and he absolutely pulverized you. So, you know, listen, at the end of the day, Alex, you're in a very unforgiving sport. And one fight hanging around, it could prove fatal. So I think the way you answered that is all the proof you need that you haven't got the focus and desire anymore.
Yeah, I enjoy it. I love it. I love the game, but I have to understand. I like to go to gym. I can't do anywhere near what I used to do. I mean, getting to the gym that hurts. And I mean, part of me, when I occasionally go to a fight show, I like to. Would I like to still do that? Part of me would. I like the razzmatazz. Are you not entertained? Russell Crowe, Gladiator. I like the whole showmanship of it, but you have to realize that pinnacle. What is it? One night is about 6 months of hard bloody work, and I know if I had the real desire. Look, I've got lots of injuries that need healing, and but I know I have the toughness and I have the tenacity and I have the fight intelligence to be able to do it if I really want to. You see someone like Mike Tyson, how is he, 54, 53? He's just got back in last year. Was it last year, this year? Last year, just gone with Roy Jones. And he was a little bit nervous. I think, well, if he could do it, you know, but then he has the best nutrition, the best drugs. When I say drugs, I'm not talking steroids, I'm talking stem cells. There's so many mind-blowing technologies out there now that you can reverse your aging in some respects, but you still have to have the desire, because fighting is a young man's game who has bounds of testosterone. And I don't know if the testosterone, it can do two things. It can either make you stupid, or it makes you stupid and very brave. Masks the fear. But deep inside, you're a little kid crying, scared. And that's really who all I ever was. Now I'm not a kid crying anymore. I don't need to do all those tough guy things. But I do like the game of chess, of a competition. That's fun.
Yeah.
Martial arts.
I mean, Alan Thompson keeps talking about playing chess. That's something I really want to do. But you know what? I think the answer to your question, Alex, is if someone offered you a big check tomorrow to fight, you'd think of Nikki and Anastasia. But I think that would be the only thing that would make you think, right? Because Marvin Hagler said it's hard to get out of bed at 4 a.m. in silk pajamas. You know, so that's gone. It's obvious it's gone. But if someone said, right, Alex,
silk pajamas, but I mean, yeah, but I listen, I'd fight now if the money was right.
Yeah.
Even in the condition I'm in. It might not last very long.
Yeah. But you know what your serious thing is then is, you know, I think, well, by the sounds of a few things, I was talking to your manager the other day, Lee Stafford. You've got a lot of things in the pipeline, documentaries. I know when I was with you last year, you were talking about that show. Is it The Jungle or something? There was a few things that they look concrete for you. But this year, you know, the plan surely, is it to get back on television or, you know, films?
Both.
Right.
I've got to be careful what I say. I've signed some NCNDAs, non-circumvent, non-disclosure agreements, where I'm involved in. I've been casting some amazing projects, a couple of films, and a Game of Thrones style show.
Really?
It's yeah. So that's great, and that's why I say it's all about juggling what pieces come into play first. So me having a fight might be the most stupid thing in the world to do, as much as I'd like to do it for fun. I wouldn't be fighting anyone who's going to smash me to pieces. But is that the most wise? I wanted to fight a couple of years ago, and Nicola said to me, Alex, the amount of money it's going to cost you to just get healthy and fit, it's not. It's you're just doing it for your ego, and I totally agree. But so with that, I've got acting projects and a reality TV show. No, it's not a reality TV. It's a documentary focusing on my life in pre-production, to explain the trials and tribulations, what's going on, all of the different facets which have happened. I've got Dynamite ready to release, to share. Yeah, but it's not to be sensational. I know about sensation. I know about sensation and how sensational can sell magazines and but you become.
Let me just give you an example. Right, I've just done the Alan Thompson book. So the Sun done the story, massive, and they did a serialization, and they picked the most jaw-dropping stories, alleged drugs, affairs, religion stuff. They in the contract they said they were allowed to take 15,000 words from a 95,000 book. So they've done the story, they've done the book serialization over 3 days, and they picked the best. So could you imagine Alex Reid, my life? You know what would they want? They'd pay you X, Y, Z, but they would get the money's worth, mate, and they would bring you. I don't think it would be for you at the minute, because they wouldn't just say, let's talk about your MMA career or your Bob Reid. They're going to be like, listen, let's talk about that marriage and all this and that and the other.
Yeah. Hence why I've not done that.
Yeah.
And I've got these other things coming on, and they're quite humongous. Let's look at the whole trials and tribulations I've had to get Anastasia Pixie Reid to this world. I mean, that is, and the relationship, the ups and downs of my relationship with Nicola, which hasn't been reported. We've not wanted to, because I do want to now keep certain things private, and I do that. But there's certain things I do like the limelight, and there's a way I can have the best of both worlds. Just got to be careful, because I do want to have the privacy for my family. But there's certain things that Nicola's been nominated for this award for the best mama. I'm really proud of that, and in that respect, I want to promote and shout. But there's certain things obviously I don't want to share, but there's some things I really want to share, which are private, which is it's just opening the door, getting to choose what bit of my world I want to open up and not open up. And with this documentary, I'm going to be opening up things that people have never seen before. We're going to be talking about the drugs, about the suicidal therapy, the thoughts, the absolute lows and degradation. There's so much stuff. It gets dark. I don't really want to go there, but the reason why I want to go there, I'm going to go there, is because I see how much help it's helping other people.
So, Alex, can we talk a little bit about Nikki? Because, I mean, she was an actress, or she is, in her own right. Well done, Nikki.
She studied. So she went to RADA, I think. Was it RADA? Yeah.
So what things has she done, or can you not say? Or
she's done some plays. She's done a few shows, sitcoms and stuff like that. Yeah.
So obviously,
films, minor films, small roles in minor films.
Right. So is that the plan for both of you, though, to be films, televisions? Because Jimmy O earlier said Alex could do public speaking. He's an exceptional orator. or Yates, is it? But I mean, is that something like that you'd maybe want to do an evening with Alex Reid?
I love to do that sort of stuff. Yeah, why not? That's fun. Getting to share. I've done that. I've already done that, and I've been quiet for the last few years. But yeah, I'll get back into doing that. I've done that. You know, especially being more confident with myself now. I mean, I've had such low self-esteem. You think, what the hell? The inner turmoil, the battles I've had with depression and self-loathing. That's why I related to that book, Tyson Fury's book, and I think,
yeah,
hang on a minute, I could write this. I could write this book. I've got things I can share, and I think,
massively, absolutely, massively.
I've got people who come to me every week and ask me questions about how do I deal with this, how do I deal with that. Yeah.
You know, I definitely think that's one for you, Alex. I mean, I know, listen, when the time's right, whether that be 2 years, 5 years, 10 years, if you want to do being born, growing up, all the things you've been through, which I'm not going to say, and that would go, and that would be, you know, when that would be headlines like.
I think we talked about this. The reason why we're not doing this is because of that.
Yeah.
The current situation, we know, but that's bubbling in the background.
Yeah. So the best, I think the better idea is to do Alex Reid. Now you've got so much knowledge, you know, informative experience on diets, mental health, you know, lots of other different things I don't want to mention about. You've been a fighter, you've been anxiety, the drugs things, and all these kind of different things that you've lived. And you know, you had this thing, I think, when you were about 34, when yes, you were famous and you were well known, and people like Paul Venice knew you, but then all of a sudden in 2009, the media just grabbed you, and you said it's like the fame drug, and people can get addicted to it, you know. And you've been out that, and you've went through it, and you've come out the other end, and you're not in bloody rehab like a lot of people would be. Looking back on your life, Alex, when you look back at, I mean, what are you now, 46, 47?
40 something.
Yeah. So if you look back and think, 46. Right, if you could speak to a young Alex Reid, you know, there's a lot of people that would really sit up and take notice. You've made some massive mistakes, and you've lived through it, and you've been on the front paper. Yeah. You're known to millions, and you know, lots of people have breakdowns and all that. You haven't. You're still here, but you know, you've lived through a lot of turmoils, haven't you? And
I like to put out, I'm not 100%. I feel like I'm not trying to be a guru by any means. I'm not. I still have my healthy amount of shit go on in my life, which I feel like, how am I going to deal with this? I have, I wouldn't say breakdowns, but not nearly close breakdowns. And I think that's actually quite normal in today's world, especially what's gone on in the last few years, like being nervous about how am I going to make a living, you know, how am I going to survive? Well, you know, I felt like I was a joke in the whole media world that didn't want to touch me unless I become more of a joke. Yeah. And I know you can see other people around me, and you know, without no names mentioned, I'm sure we know what we're talking about, who've gone down that road of becoming more and more outrageous. Car crash, and that's been presented to me. I mean, I've turned down to go on that show, Celebrity Juice, several times, shows like that, because they just mock me. And I can have a laugh with myself. But you have to realise, and I had all these managers and PR agents who were just pushing me to do all these magazines, and it was like, why is a ground tongue? If you've seen Lord of the Rings, there's a king who gets poisoned by this kind of evil dwarf, who's in his ear telling him what to do the whole time, and the king becomes evil. And then when Gandalf, the good wizard, comes in, he kicks Wise a ground tongue out, and the king instantly starts to heal again. So I've had all these like agents and PR people telling me what they've been doing is lining their own pockets. I have to take responsibility because I listen to them. I mean, but if I didn't have had the right advice, so if I could go back in time, I'd be giving myself so much good advice.
Yeah.
Like, this person doesn't have your best interests. I mean, I've made a lot of money, and all the money's gone in on court hearings. And I've been in, again, I can't talk about it. I've been in more than 60 court hearings in the last 10 years. That's unfathomable. 60 court hearings. Going to court is a scary thing for most people. I've become reasonably nonchalant. Well, a few of them I've been, well, the last one I got sent down to go to prison. I literally paid to go to prison. I can't believe it. I mean, in this day and age, I remember reading in the paper, I know I've gone on a tangent, I was in the Sun. Great, thanks, the Sun. So I go in, I'm trying to like keep my head down, and everyone, they're all like all coming up to my cell and chanting, yeah, Reid, he's here, like partying. It wasn't nice, because they were coming up and offering me fights and then saying things about what was so and so like in bed. And I'm like, oh my God, I thought I'm going to put up with this for one night. But long story short, they put that in the Sun, and that put me at risk. And in the Sun, I went to, this is how crazy it is. I did something very stupid. I went to prison for contempt. I listened to the advice of somebody who was a witness who lied in the court document, and I went along with it. I said, yeah, that's how it went down. So that's contempt. This is crazy. I would never have gone to prison if it wasn't a criminal proceedings. I wasn't criminally charged. I can't fathom this. I went to prison and I don't have a criminal record. I wasn't criminally charged. I don't understand that. That doesn't make sense.
You know what? You went to one of the most very, very famous prisons. Now, I'm a bit of a historian, particularly a London historian. So I know the history behind Pentonville prisons, your Roy Shaws, your Reggie Crays, your Oscar Wildes. I believe Oscar Wilde's cell's still there. You know, I mean, did you see any famous people?
George Michael was there. George Michael. He went there.
Oh, yes. Yeah. I was going to say he was dead. Yeah.
Yeah, he wasn't there.
You know,
he wasn't there when I was there. Maybe his ghost was. Yeah.
You know, I mean, you know, I remember reading it.
I could have gone into segregation, but I thought, nah, let's see what it's like. Yeah.
Yeah. It's horrible. Honestly, it's like, listen, I got 18 months when I was a kid, and but you know what? I couldn't do a day now. And I remember reading people. Do you know what? Oh, Alex Reid got 4 weeks or 8 weeks, or was it? It'll only be in a month, and it sounds quick if you say it quick enough. But listen, a day can be a long time if you're not in a place.
There was some scary people in there. I went in there relaxed though. I mean, I was obviously, I know I can fight, but it doesn't matter if you can fight when someone sticks a knife in your back and you're asleep and someone throws hot water over you. You know, you've got to be on guard 24/7. You can't be. So at some point you just have to relax. So I decided just to relax and be at peace and be nice. And then when everyone's doing this peacocking, yeah, I was like, okay. Yeah. Didn't really get any threats, challenges. I got some threats, but yeah.
So do you know what, Alex? We're in a new year, and am I right in saying that? I mean, the future's never looked so positive for you. Are you probably the most peaceful you've been in your adult life now?
You say that. I like what this journey called life. Here we're going off on a spiritual trip again. I'm like, you tell me. I mean, how do you feel now? How young are you, Jamie?
I'm 41, and do you know what? I'm a fat middle-aged man now, so I've got to that age where I could walk about with Dunlop trainers and nobody would bother me because I'm a fat middle-aged bloke.
Is that how you define yourself? Are you comfortable with that though? In your heart?
Well, I'm not. I'm overweight a bit. I've lost a stone recently, but you know,
that's how you define yourself. I'm a fat middle-aged man.
Yeah,
but you know, you could have said anything. You could say I'm a happy, outgoing author who's got all these great opportunities, but you said I'm a fat middle-aged man.
Because you know what, Alex? I'm not after anything in life.
Yes,
you know, as long as I'm.
Come on, yes, you are.
Right.
You still
all I want is my wife and son to be okay, immediate family, a handful of close friends. And other than that, I'm not bothered because I don't really like people. I have
You
to
say,
associate.
yeah, you do. You say you don't want people. You want more than that. You want to be award winning. You want your books to do really well. That's
Yeah, this is
why
my
not?
that's my private life. But to be honest, I want the world. I've done 19 books in 4 years to the week. 10 of them became bestsellers on Amazon. You know, I'm getting noticed now. People are contacting me, and I'm thinking, how do you even know my name? And you know, and it's you know, but there's yes, I want work. I worry about. To be honest, COVID has ruined my business these last 2 years. You know, one book. I'll give you an example. It was due to be released in March 2020. Middlesbrough Waterstones ordered 450. Now there's 330 Waterstones in Great Britain, right? That shop never ever ordered the 450 to this day. So I've had to get by on your Amazons, where Waterstones is your biggest platform. You know, that's when you really make it, when, you know, the books, you get them all over in Doncaster and Coventry and London. And that's how it works. So,
So
you know, on a professional sense.
you say, just to cut in, like, that's the world. That's the world over. So many people, your story, people struggling because of what's going on, and fighting the negativity, just surviving, just wanting to survive. I don't just want to survive, Jamie. And I know things are positive, but with all of the shit that's gone on recently and in my own life, I take it all with a pinch of salt as well, because the last thing I want to do is be mouthing off too much, because I've done it way too many times. Lots of hot air, and you become someone who's like, oh, that guy's just talking crap again. Yeah, right. He's just blowing off hot air. But I do feel positive, and it's about feeling it right now. You have to feel it. This is why I feel relaxed. Kind of feel relaxed. I feel like, yeah, it's all right.
No, you know, I think you're in the best place since I've known you. But just to clarify that, I was meaning, do you know what? There's so much drama, particularly on YouTube, all this. And I watch it and I just think it's ridiculous, because unless there's a ways to make money and provide for my family, I don't care about being on YouTube, sitting making lies. And, you know, my first book, it was about ego. Now, because I've done 20, I mean, I remember explaining to you about a training book, how expensive it would cost if you put 100 pictures in, lifting weights. And I said, are you doing this for an ego, or are you doing this to make money? Because if you make money, that's a very expensive project, or there'd have to be at least black and white. And then you're taking the detail out the pictures. So I know about books, but, you know, I don't want drama.
But,
and
okay, let me sum that up for a second. A lot of the guys who watch this, or maybe not watching this, we all know who Arnold Schwarzenegger is. He's done several books, but he's done the bodybuilding encyclopedia, and it's like it's like the Bible of bodybuilding, and it's got all the pictures. And it was, I'm not Arnold Schwarzenegger, but look, let's forget it. I'm a genie, and I'm giving you wishes. What kind of? I'm gonna have this book. Yeah, it's great. If I could have had that book, that's the most. I mean, everyone's got that book, but then I'm not Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Yeah.
I mean, we have to be real as well. And all the book it does have lots of writing in it, but it's so many pictures, and it's so inspiring. Do you know the book I'm talking about? You've probably seen it.
Yes, of course. I haven't read it, but I know what it is. But I mean, funny enough, have you heard of Bill Kazmaier?
No.
He's the 3-time greatest ever bodybuilder. He's actually reached out to me. I'm meeting him in a couple of months about doing his book. So, you know, honestly, I mean,
Bill Kazmaier
or something like that. He's an American, 3 times, supposedly the greatest heavyweight weightlifter that ever lived.
Yeah.
But you know, and there's so many people, Alex, these last couple of months, Matt O'Neill, Chris Sutton, and I've been sat with him thinking, I used to have posters of you on my bedroom wall. You know, but there's a saying, never meet your heroes. And there's a lot of people I've met and I've been disappointed. But you're not one of them. So Alex Reid, going forward, how can people, right, your YouTube channel, I'm going to put this in the bio, and you're going to be busy on it. You're going to be talking about diets, medicals, dogs, just lots of different things, because you've got a lot of things in your life, Alex, haven't you?
This thing that just I think we need to wrap up because we've been going for nearly an hour now.
Yeah.
The things. So YouTube channel, we've got my missus. Please vote for her, best mama. Bob Reid Foundation. If anyone needs help regarding that, send me a message. And the GoFundMe page if you want to help out with the homeless. And
yeah. So I'm going to put all 4 links in that video. And if anyone wants to reach out to Alex Reid regarding any projects, what's the best way?
Brilliant. I'll put the link on there as well for my manager, Lee Stafford. Yes.
Send me that and I'll put it on. Alex, it's always a pleasure speaking to you, mate.
I'm currently agentless. I don't have an agent at the moment. That's a lie. I lie. I've just been speaking to an LA agent. Got an agent in LA and New York. Isn't that crazy? But if you're interested in acting, want me in a project, just message Lee Stafford. He's working for me as my management team. He's not an acting agent per se, but he is. We can work in that respect.
But you are also on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, and of course YouTube. So Alex, I look forward to watching your channel grow, mate. And you've got lots of different...
we're gonna do this book, this self-help book. Yeah.
So when are you looking on and getting together? When do you think? Because I've had, to be honest, just I'll tell you this before I go, I've probably got 3 years work lined up, right? But because I have a special place for you, and I know the book will do well, I've always kind of, when I've been talking to these footballers and boxers, I've always been a bit like looking at you. Do you know what I mean? So
I think it's all about the timing with all the different other projects. Because look, we all want to make a few quid. What's the best time to market something? When something else is coming out, when I've got these other shows coming out. But that said, we need to do a lot of work beforehand. Like I said, you might go and see someone fight for one night. That can be up to, for most fighters, it's 2 to 6 months of training. A book you might read in, how long does it take you to read a book, Jamie?
What, proofreading it or?
No, just any book.
All right. Well, 3 days. Probably 3 days.
So how long did that book take? 6 months?
The Alan Thompson one's probably, well, I mean, it's probably been most of the year, but my wife had cancer. I've had issues. To be honest, if I'd done it again tomorrow, 3-4 months, 4 months.
So 3-4 months in 2-3 days. We got some work to do. There's a lot. It's a busy year. That's all I'm going to say. And we're going to be doing a lot more stuff. I love you, Jamie. I'm going to say goodbye.
Big love, brother. God bless.
Take care, bro. Bye, mate. Thank you, guys.